सूही महला चौथा। तू करता सब किछु आपे जाने, क्या तुद पे आँख सुनाइए। बुरा भला तुद सब किछु सूझे, जे हाको करे ते हाको पाइए। मेरे साहिब तू अंतर की बिध जाने है, बुरा भला तुद सब किछ सूझे। तुद पावे तिवे बुलावे रहाओ। You are the creator of the whole universe, and you know everything about us, being omniscient. How could we explain to you our feelings? You have a complete picture of doings of all human beings, knowing the qualities or vices of every one of us. We get the reward of our actions. O true Master, we know the true state of our heart, our mind, including the virtuous or sinful actions of us. You manage the doing actions of individuals, calling them by such names as it pleases you. Pause. सब मोह माया शरीर हर किया, विच देही मानक भगत कराई। इक ना सतगुर मेल सुख देवे, इक मन मुख तंद पिटाई। सबको तेरा तू सबना का, मेरे करते तुद सपना सिर लिखिया लेख। जेही तू नदर करे ते हाको होवे, बिन नदरी नाही को पेख। Having created this human frame, you have engrossed this human being in the love of Maya, but in the same human life some people are unable to worship you, recite your true name, though they may be involved in dual-mindedness under the influence of Maya. The Guru-minded people are enabled to enjoy the eternal bliss by blessing them with guidance of Guru, whereas the faithless people are made to wander and suffer, being engrossed in the worldly falsehood, Maya. तेरी वड्याई तू है जान है, सब तुधनो नित ध्याए। जिसनो तुध पावे तिसनो तू मिले, जन नानक सो थाए पाए। O true God Creator, you are the true Master of all, and everything takes place in this world as per your will, and everyone is predestined with good or bad fortune as dictated by you. Even human being functions in life based on your grace and benevolence bestowed by you, as without your blessings no one could exist in this world, and no one is kept away from your control. O Nanak, people blessed with God's grace are enabled to unite with Him. Such Guru-minded people merge with Him, being honored in His presence. However, your greatness and praises are known to you alone, while the whole world remembers you by reciting true name day and night. सूही महला चौथा। जिनके अंतर वस्या मेरा हर हर, तिनके सब रोग गवाए। ते मुक्त भय जिन हर नाम ध्याया, तिन पवित्र परम पद पाए। मेरे राम हर जन अरोग भय, गुर बचने जिन्ना जपया मेरा हर हर। तिनके हौ में रोग गए रहाओ। The people who are imbued with the love of God, they cast away all their ills and sufferings. Such people who have recited God's true name, they have been saved from going through cycle of births and deaths, as they have attained the bliss of God's unison, the state of equipoise. The slaves, disciples of Vaheguru have gotten rid of their sufferings. The Guru-minded people who have recited His true name by listening to and following His teachings, they have been rid of their afflictions of egoism and dual-mindedness. Pause. ब्रह्मा विष्णु महादेव त्रैगुण रोगी विच होमै कार कमाई जिन किए तिसहि न चेते बपड़े हर गुरमुख सोची पाए. Even the great gods like Brahma, Shiva, Vishnu, they were in control of the three-pronged Maya, lust for power, greed and peace. They have not escaped from the effects of egoism, as the creation of the universe has been based on this ego or engrossed in worldly falsehood. The one and only God who has created this universe, including gods like Brahma, they never have remembered the real divine God, whereas the Guru-minded people have been enabled to realize the value of reciting true name and connecting with the true one and only divine. होमे रोग सब जगत व्याप्या तिनको जन्म मरण दुख पारी गुर प्रसादी को विरला छूटे तिस जन को हो बलिहारी. The whole world is engrossed in the malady of egoism, as all the beings who are suffering, involved in the love of ego and worldly attachments, they suffer the pangs of the cycle of rebirths. Very few people, through the Guru's grace, have escaped from the malady of egoism. I would offer myself as a sacrifice to such people who have gotten rid of this affliction of egoism. जिन शिष्ट साजी सोई हर जाने ताका रूप पारो नानक आपे वेख हर बिगसै गुरमुख ब्रह्म विचारो. O Nanak, the God alone who has created this universe knows the system of working or functioning of this worldly drama, but His greatness and vastness is beyond our comprehension. Being limitless, He is too great and too deep for a probe by us. He feels thrilled by watching His own creation. There is no other means of remembering and meditating on God except through Guru's guidance. Suhi Mahalla Chautha Kita Karna Sarb Rajai Kich Kichai Je Kar Sakiai Apna Kita Kichu Na Hove Jo Har Pave Tyo Rakhiai मेरे हर जियो सबको तेरे वास असां जोर नाही जे किछ कर हम साकें जो पावे तिवे बख्श रहा. Everything is being controlled by the dictates of Vaheguru as per His will, including the doings of past or future. What could we do, as we do not possess any power? O Vaheguru, may you protect us from all our sufferings as it pleases you. O my true Master, everything is under your control and we have no strength to act according to our own desires. May you pardon our sins as it pleases you. Pause. सब जियो पिंड दिया तुध आपे कारे लाया जे हाथू हुक्म करे ते को कर्म कमावे जे हाथुद तुर लिख पाया पंच तत् कर तुद शिष्ट सब साची कोई छेवा करियो जे किछ कीता होवे इक ना सतगुर मेल तू बुझावे इक मन मुख करहे से रोवे हर की वड्याई हो आँख न साका हो मूरख मुगदनी चाण जन नानक को हर बख्श लै मेरे स्वामी शरणागत पया अजान. O Vaheguru, all the beings have been bestowed with the gift of life and are engaged in various functions based on their actions as ordained by you. We function according to your dictates as predestined by God's will and undergo suffering or joy as ordained by you. O Vaheguru, this whole universe has been created by you through the 5 basic elements. If anyone were to have the power to create a 6th one, then he would have done so, but no one has had the strength. There are some Guru-minded people who are blessed with complete realization of God's secrets through Guru's guidance, whereas some faithless people are engaged in sinful actions due to their self-mindedness. Then they wail and cry, being punished in the end. O Nanak, I cannot even praise the greatness of the God, as I am the greatest fool and helpless person. May I be pardoned by you, being your slave and unaware of your greatness, and have now sought your support. राग सुही महला पंचमा कर पहला एक ओंकार सतगुर प्रसाद बाजीगर जैसे बाजी पाए नाना रूप पेख दिखलाए सांग उतार थम्यो पसारा तब एको एकंकारा कवन रूप दृष्टो बिन सायो कथे गयो हो कतते आयो रहा. When the magician finishes with his magical tricks, his drama, then his real self appears in the world without having any charm or magical powers, and he is left alone having finished his drama. Similarly, Vaheguru has created this universe as a part of his worldly drama, and he himself perceives the whole drama being enacted by him and remains aloof and all alone once the charm of Maya, worldly falsehood, is removed by him. How many forms and images appeared and disappeared? Where have they all gone? Where did they come from? Pause. Jalte uthe anik taranga कनिक पूखन कीने बहुरंगा बीज बीज देखियो बहु परकारा फल पाके ते एकंकारा. Countless waves rise up from the water. Jewels and ornaments of many different forms are fashioned from gold. I have seen seeds of all kinds being planted. When the fruit ripens, the seeds appear in the same form as the original. Sehis kata mehe ka akas, kat foote te ohi pargas, param lobh moh maya vikar, pram chhute te ekankar. The one sky is reflected in thousands of water jugs, but when the jug is broken, only the sky remains. Doubt comes from greed, emotional attachment, and the corruption of Maya. Freed from doubt, one realizes the God alone. O abhinasi bin sat nahi, na ko aave na ko jahi. गुरपुरै हो में मल तोई कहु नानक मेरी परम गत होई. He is imperishable, he will never pass away, he does not come, he does not go. The perfect Guru has washed away the filth of ego. O Nanak, I have obtained the supreme bliss. सुही महला पंजमा कीता लोड़े सो प्रभ होए तुझ बिन दूजा नाही कोए जो जन सेवे तिस पूरन काज दास अपने की राखो लाज तेरी शरण पूरन दयाला तुझ बिन कवन करे प्रतिपाला रहा. Whatever God wills happens. Without you, Vaheguru, there is no other. The humble being serves him, and so all the works are perfectly successful. O Vaheguru, please preserve the honor of your slaves. I seek your sanctuary, O perfect God. Without you, who would cherish and love me? Pause. जल थल महियल रया भरपूर निकट वसै नाहि प्रभ दूर लोकपति आरै कछु न पायै साच लगै ताहु में जायै God is permeating the water, the land, and the sky. He dwells near at hand. He is not far away. By trying to please other people, nothing can be accomplished. When someone is attached to true God, then one's ego is taken away. जिसनो लाए लए सो लागै ज्ञान रतन अंतर तिस जागै दुर्मत जाए परम पद पाए गुर प्रसादी नाम त्याए दुए कर जोड़ करो अरदास तुद पावे ता आणे रास कर कृपा अपनी भगति लाए जन नानक प्रभ सदा त्याए He alone is attached whom God himself attaches. The jewel of spiritual wisdom is awakened deep within. Evil-mindedness is eradicated and the supreme status is attained. By Guru's grace, let us meditate on the name of God. Pressing my palms together, I offer my prayer. If it pleases you, please bless me and fulfill me. Grant your mercy and bless me with devotion. O Nanak, I meditate on that Vaheguru forever. Suhi Mahalla Panjama Tan Suhagan Jo Prabhu Pachane Mane Hukum Tajay Abhimane Presyon Rati Raliya Mane Sun Sakhiye Prabhu Milan Nisani मन तन अर्प तजलाश लोकानी रहा. That soul bride is blessed who has realized Vaheguru. She obeys the hukum of his order and abandons any self-conceit. She remains imbued with her beloved's love. She celebrates in delight. O my companions, listen to me. These are the signs on the path to meet Vaheguru. Dedicate your mind and body to him and stop living to please others. Pause. Sakhi saheli ko samjhave, soi kamave jo prabh pave. सा सुहागण अंक समावै गर्भ गहेली महल न पावै फिर पछतावै जब रैण बिहावै कर्महीन मन मुख दुख पावै बिनो करी जे जाना दूर प्रभ बिनासी रहया परपूर जन नानक गावै देख दूर. One soul bride counsels another one to do only that which pleases Vaheguru. Such a soul bride merges into the being of God. One who remains in grip of pride cannot obtain the mansion of Vaheguru's presence and regrets when her life night passes away. The unfortunate self-will Manmukh suffer in pain. I pray to God, but I think that He is far away. He is imperishable. He is eternal, all-pervading and permeating. O Nanak, I sing of Him. I see Him ever present, everywhere. Suhi Mahalla Panjama ग्रहवस गुर कीना हाउ कर कीनार दस दासी कर दीनी पतार सगल समग्री में कर की जोड़ी आस प्यासी पिर को लोड़ी The giver has put this household of my being under my own control now. I am the mistress of this house of God. My husband God has made the 10 senses and organs of actions my slaves. I have gathered together all my faculties and facilities of this house. I am thirsty with desire and longing for my husband God. कवन कहा गुण कंत प्यारे सुकर स्वरूप दयाल मुरारे राव सत श्रृंगार पवंजन पाया अमृत नाम तम बोल मुख खाया कंगन वस्त्र गहने बने सुहावे तन सब सुख पावे जो पिर कर आवे What qualities of my true master should I relate and discuss? What praises should I sing? O Vaheguru, your form is most charming and benevolent, which had killed even the demon Morph. My egoism has been cast away by you. Now I have embellished myself with the beautification of truthfulness, and I use the mascara of God's love and fear for my eyes, along with the nectar of true name for my mouth. Now all the embellishments of bracelet, tresses, ornaments I am using appear beautiful and worthwhile, just as a happy soul bride feels thrilled on seeing her husband God back home. I also have attained the bliss of life as my God spouse has joined me within. गुण कामण कर कंतरि छाया वस कर लीना गुर परम चुकाया सब ते ऊंचा मंदिर मेरा सब कामण त्यागी प्रयो प्रीतम मेरा प्रगटया सूर ज्योत उजियारा सेज विछाई सरद अपारा नव रंग लाल सेज रावण आया जन नानक पिर तन मिल सुख पाया Having performed virtuous deeds, I have now enticed and fascinated my husband God. He is under my power. The Guru has dispelled my doubts. My mansion is lofty and elevated. Renouncing all other brides, my beloved has become my lover. O Nanak, the God has now appeared within my soul, whose enlightenment has brightened my heart and shone like the sun's rays all around. I enjoyed the bliss of God's unison, having prepared myself for His reception with a pure heart, with love and devotion, along with full faith in Him. Thus, the human being enjoys eternal bliss of merging with God's spouse, like the soul bride in the company of her husband God. Suhi mahalla panjama umkyo hiyo milan prabtai khojat charyo dekhyo priyajai sunat sandesaro pregrah sej vichai Pram pram ayo to nadar na pai Kin bidhiro tire nimano Mil sajan ho tuj kurbano Raha I am thrilled and enamored with the love in my heart to unite with my true master. While seeking the God, I thought of perceiving him somewhere, but on receiving the message of God from the holy saints, I started performing virtuous actions having purified my body so as to prepare for the unison of God with a pure heart. Earlier, when I was engrossed in whims and dual-mindedness, I was bereft of the grace of God and vision of prime soul. O friend, how could the mind of a poor soul like me rest in peace without meeting Vaheguru? However, now I would offer myself as a sacrifice to God, having united with Him. Pause. Eka sej vichi tan kanta, tan suti pir sad jaganta, piyo madro tan mantavanta, tan jage je pir bolanta, भई निरासी बहुत दिन लागे, देस दिसंतर में सगले चागे, खिन रहन न पावो बिन पग पागे, होए कृपाल प्रभ मिल्हे सभागे. Now we have prepared only a single stage for God's spouse and human being to enjoy his conjugal bliss when the human being was noticed sleeping in the slumber of ignorance with the God spouse fully awake. However, this human was seen engrossed in egoism, drunk with the wine of ego, and was unaware of the presence of God's spouse. It is only through the grace of God's spouse that this human being could be shaken up from this slumber. The human being got disappointed without perceiving God's spouse for a long time, as he had undergone a lot of sufferings in wanderings in foreign lands in search of God's spouse. In fact, without worshipping the lotus feet of Vaheguru, one would not get peace of mind even for a moment. O Vaheguru, we will be really fortunate when we'll meet the God through His grace. भयो कृपाल सत्संग मिलाया, भूजी तपत करहे फिर पाया, सगल श्रृंगार हुण मुझे सुहाया, कहो नानक गुर परम चुकाया, जय देखा ते पिर है पाई, खोले ओ कपाट दामन ठहराई, रहाओ दूजा. O brother, when I was bestowed with the company of holy saints through God's grace, I got rid of all my worldly desires and attained that Vaheguru within my heart. O Nanak, now I like to embellish myself with various beauty aids, and that God's spouse is pleased with me and has united me with Himself, ridding me of all my doubts and dual-mindedness. Now I perceive God's spouse all over wherever I look around. I have been imbued with the love of God in my heart when the Guru cast away my veil of ignorance and I got immersed in reciting God's true name. Pause. Suhi mahilla panjama, kya gun tere sar samali, मुझ निर्गुण के दातारे, बै खरीद क्या करे चतुराए, ए जियो पिंड सब थारे, लाल रंगीले प्रीतम मनमोहन, तेरे दर्शन को हम बारे, रहाओ प्रभ दाता मोहि दीन भिखारी, तुम सदा सदा उपकारे, सो किछ नाही जे मैं ते होवै, मेरे ठाकुर अगम अपारे. O God, benefactor of the helpless and unvirtuous people, with which benedictions of yours should I remember you, as the slave of yours, having been paid for, could not show any of his cleverness when all the worldly possessions, including this body and soul, have been bestowed by you alone. O beloved God, the Master of the worldly bliss, you have enamored us so much that we would offer ourselves as a sacrifice to you, having perceived your glimpse. Pause. O true Master, you are our greatest benefactor who pardoned all our sins, whereas I am a helpless beggar, slave of yours who has been blessed with your favors. O true God, there is no worldly function which I could perform without your support, and I cannot even attempt to describe your greatness and vastness, being beyond our comprehension. क्या सेव कमावो क्या कहे रिझावो बिद कित पावो दर सारे मित नहीं पाइए अंत न लहिए मन तरसै चर नारे पावो दान तीठ होए मांगो मुख लागे संत रे नारे जन नानक को गुर कृपा तारी प्रभ हाथ दे निस्तारे. O Vaheguru, what is my worth so as to serve you or please you with your praises, and what actions of mine could enable me to have your glimpse? I am craving and longing to serve your lotus feet, as this worldly creation of yours, along with your system, are beyond my comprehension. You are limitless. O Nanak, I am seeking the dust of lotus feet of holy saints, so that I could apply it to my forehead. God has enabled me to cross this ocean of life successfully with a helping hand through His grace. Suhi Mahalla Panjama Karti Jai Kumkar Satgur Prasad सेवा थोरी मांगन बहुता महल न पावे कह तो बहुता जो प्रेमाने तिनकी रीसा कूड़े मूरख की हठी सा रहाओ पेख दिखावे सच न खमावे कह तो महली निकट नावे अतीत सदाए माया का माता मन नहीं प्रीत कहे मुखराता कहो नानक प्रभु बिनो सुनी जय कुचल कठोर कामी मुकत की जय दर्शन देखे की वडियाई तुम सुख दाते पुरख सुभाई रहाओ दूजा. This human being wants to gain maximum fruits of all the labor he does, though his services are insignificant. He does not realize the true picture of God's vision, but declares having attained God. This fool tries to copy those guru-minded people whom the God spouse has accepted as his disciples, but all this seems to be the jargon for this foolish man. Pause. This faithless person poses to be saintly with false appearances, though he never practices truthfulness. He declares having merged with God, though his actions and practical life does not show that. He poses and claims to be saint, but remains engrossed in the love of worldly falsehood. He does not inculcate the love of God in his heart, then declares himself to be immersed in his devotion. O Nanak, my request to the God is that he may listen to my prayers. May the God grant me salvation, though I am a faithless person with a stone-hearted nature and vicious thoughts engrossed in wanton desires. O Vaheguru, the greatness of your glimpse lies in bestowing us with the eternal bliss and all worldly comforts. Pause. Suhi Mahalla Panjama बुरे काम को उठ खलोया नाम की बेला पे पे सोया अवसर अपना बूझे न आना माया मोह रंग लपटाना रहाओ लोभ लहर को बिगस फूल बैठा साध जना का दर्शन डीठा. This mortal is ever ready for vicious thoughts and sinful actions and remains awake during the whole night, though he sleeps in continuous slumber during the time of recitation of true name. This human being is a fool that cannot avail of this life fruitfully and remains engrossed in the love of worldly pleasures and sinful actions due to love for Maya, falsehood. Pause. This human being gets thrilled when engrossed in greed and worldly pleasures, but never gets a glimpse of the holy saints. कबहू न समझे अज्ञान गवारा, बौर बौर लपट्यो जंजारा, रहाओ बिखे नाद करन सुन पीना, हर जस सुनत आलस मन कीना, दुष्ट नाही रे पेखत अंधे, छोड़ जाहे झूठे सब तंदे, रहाओ. This fool is so ignorant that he never tries to realize the truth due to lack of knowledge and keeps engrossed more and more in worldly affairs and bondage. Pause. This mortal enjoys the pleasure of listening to the sound of sinful actions, but is lethargic in listening to the praises of Vaheguru being sung. O blind man, why do you not meditate? Why do you not perceive the truth? You will depart from this world in the end, leaving all this worldly falsehood. Pause. Kahu Nanak Prabhu Baksh Kari Jai, Kar Kirpa Mohi Sad Sang Di Jai, तो किछ पाइए जो होइए रीना, जिसे बुझाए तिस नाम लेना, रहाओ. O Vaheguru, I pray to bless me with your grace. O Nanak, may the God bestow the company of holy saints on me through his grace. We could gain anything only by becoming the dust of the lotus feet of the saints. People who understand this thing, they attain the love of reciting true name. Pause. Suhi mahalla panjama, कर में ठाकुर नदर न आवे, गल में पाहण ले लटकावे, पर में भूला साकत फिरता, नीर बिरोले खप खप मरता, रहाओ. This human being does not perceive the God within his heart, but wears a stone round his neck for magical results. This person is engrossed in whimsical beliefs, dual-mindedness, being ensnared by the worldly falsehood. This person is busy performing various rituals that are as fruitless as churning the water, and wastes this human life, faces death after suffering through many afflictions. Pause. जिस पाहण को ठाकुर कहता, ओ पाहण ले उसको डुबता, गुनहगार लूण हरामी, पाहण नाव न पार गिरामी, गुर मिल नानक ठाकुर जाता, जल थल मैयल पूरन विधाता. The stone worn around the neck, which this person deems as an embodiment of God, finally drowns him in the ocean of life when he leads a wasteful life. This person does not own the true master whose benedictions he is always enjoying, but keeps engrossed in sinful actions instead of thanking God for his blessings. O mortal, how could you cross this ocean of life in a boat of stones? O Nanak, I have attained the true God through Guru's guidance. I have now perceived the true God who pervades all the lands, oceans and skies, and judges all our actions in life. In fact, I have attained the God in the company of holy saints through Guru's grace. Suhi mahalla panjama, लालन रावया कवन गतीरी, सखी बताओ मुझे मतीरी। सुहब सुहब सुहवी, अपने प्रीतम कै रंग रती। रहाओ पाव मिलो वो संग नैन पतीरी, जहाँ पठावो जाओ ततीरी। जब तप संजम देओ जतीरी, एक निमक मिलावो मैं प्राण पतीरी। माणतान भुंद हतीरी, सा नानक सुहागवतीरी। O dear friend, please tell me the secret of your attaining the love of beloved God. I pray to tell me of His teachings that enable you to realize His secrets. The person imbued with the love of beloved God is enamored with His charm and appears fully pleased and embellished. Pause, O dear friend, I would serve you by all means and obey your commands, rubbing your feet with my eyelids, extreme humility, and act according to your dictates. Now I will cast away my egoistic tendencies through meditation and by reciting true name and perform noble actions. O friend, I pray to enable me to meet the God spouse, even for a moment, for a twinkling of an eye, through your benevolence, so that I could get satisfied. O Nanak, such people who have followed God's will by ridding themselves of egoism, pride and strength, they attain the God spouse by carrying out His ordains. सुही महला पंचमा, तू जीवन तू प्राण अधारा। तुझी पेख पेख मन साधारा, तू साजन तू प्रीतम मेरा। चिते न बिसरह काहू बेरा, राव बैखरीद हो दासरो तेरा। तू पारो ठाकुर गुणी गहेरा, कोट दास जाके दरबारे। निमक निमक वसै तिन्ह नाले, हाँ किछ नाही सब किछ तेरा। ओत पोत नानक संग बसेरा। O Vaheguru, you are my mainstay in life, an idol of life and the support of my existence. My mind gets stabilized by perceiving you. I get peace of mind, and with your support I become carefree, free from worries. O my true friend, you are my beloved God. May I never forget you and always inculcate your love in my heart. This is my only prayer to you. Pause. O Vaheguru, I am your slave, having been paid for by you, while you are my true master, who is an invaluable asset, being the purest and greatest master, and you're the ocean of virtues. O true master, there are millions of slaves like me roaming in your court, who are being sustained and looked after by you every moment. Then you protect them by remaining by their side. O Nanak, my existence is a known entity in this world, as everything is bestowed by God and I am nothing. In fact, you are pervading the whole universe like the warp and woof of the weaver. Suhi mahalla panjama, sukh महल जाके ऊंच द्वारे। तामह वासे भगत प्यारे, सहज कथा प्रभ की अत मीठी। विरलय काहू नेत्रों डीठी, राव तह गीत नाद खारे संगा। ऊहा संत करे हर रंगा, तह मरण न जीवन सोग न हरखा। साच नाम की अमृत वर्खा, गुज कथा एह गुण ते जानी। नानक बोले हर हर बाणी। The God's abode is an ocean of bliss and peace, and the place of his holy congregation is the purest and highest place where only the friendly holy saints reside. The discourses about greatness of God in the company of holy congregations are truly very sweet. Such a place and company of holy saints is enjoyed by few fortunate Guru's Sikhs only. Pause. Vahiguru's praises are sung in the company of holy saints, and one could hear all-pervasive music of nature in these congregations. In such holy congregations, the holy saints are seen immersed in love of their beloved God. There is no place for joy or sorrow in the mention of births and deaths or sufferings due to vices, as the nectar of true name is being partaken there. There is shower of true name. O Nanak, we could realize the veracity of this statement and the truth of this hidden fact only through Guru's grace. Now we sing the praises of God by reciting the true name of Him. Suhi mahalla panjama, jakhai daras paap kot utare, petat sangyo pavjal tare, oi sajan, oi meet pyare, jo humko har naam chitare, rahao, जाका शब्द सुनत सुख सारे, जाकी टहल जमदूत पितारे, जाकी तीरज इसमने सधारे, जाके सिमरण मुख उजलारे, प्रभ के सेवक प्रभु आप सवारे, शरण नानक तिन सद्बलहारे. The main symbol of the holy saints is that we could cast away our sins of ages by having a glimpse of such saints. Secondly, the company of holy saints helps us to cross this ocean of life successfully. People who enable and help us to recite true name of God, they are our true and real friends. They are our beloved companions. Pause. The best part of this is that by listening to Vahiguru's true name being sung, we attain the eternal bliss of life, and by serving God, we could even get rid of the god of death, Yama. By perceiving God's vision, we get strength of character in terms of contentment and conviction in the mind, which forms the mainstay of our lives. By serving such holy saints and remembering the God, we become pure of heart and praiseworthy. O Nanak, the true slaves of God are acclaimed and received with honor by the God and blessed with His benedictions. I would offer myself as a sacrifice to such Guru-minded people and seek refuge at their lotus feet. Sui mahalla panjama, रहन न पावै सुर नर देवा, होठ सिधारे कर मुन जन सेवा, जीवित पेखे जिनी हर हर ध्याया, साध संग तिनि दर्शन पाया, राव बादशाह स्या व्यापारी मरना, जो दिसै सो कालहि खरना, कूड़ै मुँह लपट लपटाना, छोड़ चलिया तो फिर पछताना, कृपा निधान नानक को करो दात, नाम तेरा जपी दिन रात. In this world, even the gods, kings or men, all are mortals and transient, including the munis, mendicants, who have to face death, and after finishing their functions in life, they pass into oblivion. The Guru-minded people, however, who have recited God's true name, are seen having lived fruitful lives and have perceived the glimpse of God's vision through the company of holy saints. Pause. One thing is clearly to be understood, that the whole world, including kings, rich people, traders, will have to face death, as everyone who is seen in this world who is born will finally be caught by God of death. In the end, when this man leaves this world and faces death, terminating all the worldly relationships, then one repents at all fruitless life. O Nanak, may the God through His grace bless me with the boon of reciting the true name of the beloved God day and night. सूही महला पंजमा खट खट अंतर तुम्हें बसारे सगल समगरी सु तुम्हारे तू प्रीतम तू प्राण आधारे तुम्ही पेख पेख मन बिगसारे रहाओ अनिक जोन प्रम 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 हारे ओट गई अब साध संगारे अगम अगोचर अलख अपारे नानक सिमरै दिन रह नारे. You are pervading all the beings, and the whole worldly drama is controlled by you through the set systems of nature. The worldly things are all links of the continuous chain of your seen and visible form. The whole world is seen moving in the cycle as per God's will. O beloved God, you are very dear to me and the mainstay of life. The heart gets thrilled by perceiving the God's vision. Pause. O Vaheguru, we have gone through many forms of life in the cycle of births and deaths, and have thus tired ourselves out, suffering with doubts and dual-mindedness. Now we have sought the support of holy saints, considering all these aspects. O Nanak, my true Master is limitless, unseen, the greatest and highest power, and beyond our comprehension. Now I am engaged in reciting His true name day and night. Suhi mahalla panjama kavan kaaj maya vadiyai जाको बिन सत बार न खाई एहो सुपना सोवत नहीं जाने अचेत व्यवस्था में लपटाने रहाओ महामोह मोहयो गवारा पेखत पेखत ऊट सिधारा ऊंचते ऊंचता का दरबारा कई जंत बिना है उपारा दूसर हुआ ना को कोई जप नानक प्रभ एको सोई. What is the use of worldly falsehood and worldly greatness, as it takes no time to fade away? This world is unreal and transient like a dream, but this foolish man does not realize it due to ignorance and sleeps in the slumber of darkness. The worldly people remain engrossed in Maya. Pause. This foolish human being, due to ignorance, is always engrossed in the love of Maya and disappears from the worldly scene in no time before our very eyes. God's court is higher than the highest court, and with His will, men are passed through the cycle of births and deaths. O Nanak, there is no one equal to at par with God Almighty at present or in future, so we should recite His true name, who is only one of His kind, being omnipresent and omnipotent. Suhi mahalla panjama सिमर सिमर ताको हाँ जीवा चरण कमल तेरे तोय तोय पीवा सोहर मेरा अंतर जामी भगत जना कै संग स्वामी रहाओ सुन सुन अमृत नाम त्यावा आठ पहर तेरे गुण गावा पेख पेख लीला मन आनंदा गुण अपार प्रभ परमानंदा जाके सिमरन कछ पाओ ना व्यापै सदा सदा नानक हरे जापै. I always enjoy this life by reciting God's true name. O Vaheguru, I am always busy in serving your lotus feet by washing your lotus feet and partaking that wash. The true Master knows my inner feelings of my heart, being omniscient, and is always by the side of His holy saints to support them. Pause. O Vaheguru, I always remember you by listening and reciting the nectar like sweet true name of yours, and sing your praises all the 24 hours. By seeing your worldly drama, I always enjoy the bliss of life, while your virtues and great qualities are limitless. I always recite the true name of God, which enables me to get rid of my fear complex. We always are imbued with the love of your true name and meditate on it. Suhi Mahalla Panjama Gur ke bachan hriday dhyan tari Rasna jap japo banwari Safal moorat darsan balihari Charan kamal man pran dhari Rahao साध संग जन्म मरण निवारी अमृत कथा सुन करण धारी. I've inculcated the love of God's true name in my heart by following Guru's word. Through Guru's guidance, I always recite the true name of God, the sustainer of the whole universe. I offer myself as a sacrifice to the glimpse of the God who is pervading the whole world with perfection. As the support of his lotus feet is my mainstay of life, is the hope of my body. Pause. By serving the true God through the company of holy congregation of the Guru, I have escaped from cycle of births and deaths. Now I listen to the praises and discourses of him with my ears, thus inculcating the love, faith and support of God in my heart. Kam krodh lobh moh tajari, dir naam daan isnan suchari, kahu nanak yo tat bichari, Ram naam jap par utari. Now this practice has helped me to rid myself of my wanton desires, anger, greed, including worldly attachments, and the virtues of meditation of true name, including recitation and sharing this nectar of true name with others, has been ingrained in my mind. O Nanak, we have now realized the gist of all this discussion and have understood after great deliberation that God's true name is the only means of crossing this ocean of life successfully. Suhi Mahalla Panjama Lobh Moh Magan Aparadhi Karan Har Ki Sev Na Sadhi Patit Pavan Prabh Naam Tumhare राख ले हो मोह निर्गुण्यारे राव तू दाता प्रभ अंतर जामी काची देह मानख अभिमानी स्वाद बाद ई रख मद माया इन संग लाग रतन जन्म गवाया दुख भंजन जग जीवन हर राया सगल त्याग नानक शरणाया. We are great sinners, being engulfed by greed and worldly attachments, having never served the God Creator. O true Master, all your names are capable of purifying the sinners and directing them onto the right path. I am without any virtues and qualities. May I be bestowed with the boon of true name so as to save me from torture of cycle of births and deaths. Pause. O true God, you are our great benefactor, blessing us with your favors, knowing all our inner feelings, being omniscient. This foolish man is feeling proud of possessing this perishable human body even. This man is always engrossed with love and ego of worldly pleasures, wranglings, jealousy and worldly falsehood. Thus this human being has wasted this invaluable life, being engrossed in these vices and sinful actions. O Nanak, the God is our greatest benefactor and King Emperor of the world, capable of casting away all our afflictions. I have sought the support of Him alone, leaving all other help or support. Suhi Mahalla Panjama Bekhat Chakhat Kahiyat Andha Suniyat Suniya Nahi Nikat Vast Kau Jane Dure Papi Paap Kamahi So Kich Karjit Chute Parani Har Har Naam Jap Amrit Bani Rahao. O ignorant human being, How is it that being able to understand and see everything yourself, you are still behaving like a blind fool and are engrossed in worldly pleasures, listening to the vicious and sinful language while completely ignoring the nectar like a rose word in praise of God? O sinner, the God and the death which are close by are not seen by you, considering them a distant and faraway entities. As such, you are committing sins. O human, try to perform such actions with full efforts which could release you from worldly bondage. The best act would be to recite God's true name by singing the nectar like a rose word. Gurbani. Pause. कोर महल सदा रंग राता, संग तुम्हारे कछु न जाता। रखे ही पुचार माटी का पांडा, अत कुचील मिलाए जम डांडा। काम क्रोध लोभ मोह बाधा, महागरत में निकरत जाता। नानक की अरदास सुनी जाए, डूबत पाहन प्रभ मेरे लीजय। You are always thrilled by the sight of beautiful streets and buildings and engrossed in their enjoyment. O human being, why do you not realize that nothing will accompany you and everything will be left behind? O man, this body is like dust or a utensil which you are keeping embellished, thus maintaining this body in good shape, which is full of the filth of sins or dirt. You have forgotten the God's true name being involved in this thing. As such, you will get punished by Yama. O man, you are completely engulfed by love of wanton desires, anger, greed, and are fast sinking in the deep well of this worldly falsehood like a moon in sand. O Nanak, may the God listen to my prayers. I am sinking, drowning like a stone in this worldly ocean of life. May the God protect me from this. Sui mahilla panjama, जीवत मरै बुझै प्रभ सोए, तिस जन कर्म परापत होए। सुन साजन यो दुत्तर तरियै, मिल साधु हर नाम चरियै। रहाओ एक बिना दूजा नहीं जाने, कट कट अंतर पार ब्रह्म पछाने। जो किछ करे सोई फल माने, आद अंत की कीमत जाने। को नानक तिस जन बलिहारी, जाके हृदय वसै मुरारी। A person who leads a very humble life, unaffected by worldly wranglings, by ridding oneself of egoistic tendencies like a dead person, realizes the God's secrets and is bestowed by God with His grace. O friend, please listen to me. Let us recite God's true name in the company of holy saints, as this is the only means of crossing this ocean of life successfully. Pause. Let us not recognize any other power except the God and realize that the same light of prime soul is functioning in each human soul. The fact remains that we should accept His will with pleasure and without a murmur and appreciate the greatness of God who is ever existing, both in the beginning and the end of this universe. O Nanak, I would offer myself as a sacrifice to the person who is imbued with the love of God and has inculcated His love in the heart and is always immersed in reciting God's true name. Suhi mahalla panjama, Guru Parmesar karne har, Sagal Shrishta kau de aadhar, Gur ke charan kamal man dhyaye, दुख दर्द सतंते जाए। राव पवजल डूबत सतगुर काढ़ै, जन्म जन्म का टूटा गाढ़ै। गुर की सेवा करो दिन रात, सुख सहज मन आवे शांत। सतगुर की रेण वड पागी पावै, नानक गुर को सदबल जावै। The Guru is an embodiment of true God alone, who is omnipotent and who is the pillar, support of whole universe. Let us inculcate the love of lotus feet of Guru in our hearts, so that we could cast away all the ills, lethargy and filth of the body. Pause. The true Guru alone could save the human beings from drowning in the ocean of life. The Guru alone could unite this man separated from God since ages. Let us serve the Guru day and night so that we could enjoy the bliss of life along with peace of mind. O Nanak, very few fortunate people could attain the dust of lotus feet of the saints. If predestined by God's will, we offer ourselves as a sacrifice to the Guru with complete surrender. सुही महला पंजमा, गुरु अपने ऊपर बल जाइए, आठ पहर हर हर जस गाइए। सिमरो सो प्रभु अपना स्वामी, सगल कटा का अंतर जामी रहाओ। It is our responsibility to offer ourselves as a sacrifice to the Guru and sing the praises of the true Master all the 24 hours. Let us always recite the true name of God, who knows everything, being omniscient. Pause. चरण कमल स्यों लागी प्रीत, साची पूरन निर्मल रीत। संत प्रसाद वसै मन माही, जन्म जन्म के किल बिख जाही। कर कृपा प्रभ दीन दयाला, नानक मांगे संतर वाला। People who have developed the love of the lotus feet of God, they have purified themselves with their mode of life, being perfect in all respects. They remember the God through the grace of holy saints, along with inculcating His virtues in their hearts. Thus all the sins and vices of all the ages are cast away. O Nanak, I am always seeking the dust of the lotus feet of the holy saints. O God benefactor, may the God bless me with His grace and imbibe me with the boon of love of true name through the company of holy saints. सुही महला पंजमा, दर्शन देख जीवा गुर तेरा। पूरन कर्म होए प्रभ मेरा, एह बिनंती सुन प्रभ मेरे। देह नाम कर अपने चेरे, रहाओ अपनी सरन राख प्रभ दाते। गुर प्रसाद किने विरलै जाते। I enjoy my life by perceiving a glimpse of the Guru, whose vision helps me to complete my functions successfully, along with the blessings of God's grace. O my true Master, I pray to listen to my prayers. May I be blessed with the boon of your true name by accepting me as your slave, your disciple. Pause. O God benefactor, may I seek refuge at your lotus feet so I could be blessed with the company of your holy saints through your grace. But this state of bliss has been attained by a very few people through the grace of the Guru, thus attaining unison with the God. सुनो बिनो प्रभ मेरे मीता, चरण कमल वसै मेरै चीता। नानक एक करे अरदास, विसर नाहि पूरन गुणतास। O my dear beloved God, may I be blessed with your grace by your listening to my prayers, so I could inculcate the love of your lotus feet in my heart. O Nanak, I have only one prayer to the God. O God, the ocean of virtues, O true Master, may I never be forsaken by you and always be imbued with your love. सुही महला पंजमा, मीत साजन सुत बंधव पाई, जत कत पेखों हर संग सहाई। जत मेरी पत मेरी तन हर नाम, सुख सहजानंद बिसराम। रहाओ पार ब्रह्म जप पहिर सनाह, कोट आवध तिस बेधत नाह। You are as dear to me as my friend, companion, son, or any other relation of mine. You are always there to help support me wherever I look around. O Vaheguru, the God's true name is my caste, my status, and my wealth. As the true name blesses us with the spiritual bliss and the peace of mind. Pause. The meditation of God's true name should be used by us as our shield against all the armor, including millions of weapons which cannot pierce through it. Har charan saran gad kot hamare, काल कंटक जम तिसना बिदारै। नानक दास सदा बलिहारी, सेवक संत राजा राम मुरारी। The support of the lotus feet of the God is like a fort protecting us against all odds which cannot be surmounted by the troublesome Yama, even in the form of death. O Nanak, I as a slave offer myself as a sacrifice to God. The holy saints always demand our love and devotion, being the slaves of the God. Suhi Mahalla Panjama, गुण गोपाल प्रभ के नित गाहा, अनद विनोद मंगल सुखताहा। चल सखिए प्रभ रावण जाहा, साध जना की चरणी पाहा। रहाओ कर बिनंती जन तूर बाछाहा, जन्म जन्म के किल बिखलाहा। मन तन प्राण जियो अर पाहा, हर सिमर सिमर मान मोह कटाहा। दीन दयाल करो तसाहा, नानक दास हर शरण समाहा। The place where the praises of God benefactor are always being sung appears to be full of the eternal bliss, comforts, joy, hopes, and worldly pleasures. O dear friend, let us also proceed to unite with the God's spouse and enjoy his conjugal bliss. Let us pay our obeisance at the lotus feet of holy saints so that they would enable us to merge with God's spouse. Pause. O friend, let us pray to the holy saints and beg for the dust of their lotus feet, which could wash away all the filth of our sins of the ages. Let us offer our body, mind, soul, and our very life to them with complete self-surrender. Thus we could get rid of our egoism and worldly attachments. O Nanak, let us join the company of the saints so that they could imbibe us with the urge and love of God, so that the God benefactor would accept the slaves like us in his service, enabling us to enjoy the bliss of life. वैकुंठ नगर जहाँ संत वासा, प्रभु चरण कमल रिद माही निवासा। सुन मन तन तुझ सुख दिखलावो, हर अनिक व्यंजन तुझ भोग पुंचावो। रहाओ। The abode of the holy saints is called heaven or blissful, as the love of the lotus feet of God is imbibed in their hearts. O dear friends, listen to me. We will show you the means of enjoying the eternal bliss, partaking the food of God's true name prepared in many ways. Enjoy the nectar of true name. Pause. अमृत नाम पुंज मन माही, अचरज साधता के बरने ना जाही। लोभ मुआ तृष्णा बुझ थाकी, पार ब्रह्म की शरण जनता की। जन्म जन्म के भय मोह निवारे, नानक दास प्रभु कृपा तारे। Let us enjoy the bliss of the nectar of God's true name in the company of holy saints. The taste of the nectar is really wonderful, but it is beyond any description. By reciting the true name, the greed has been cast away and the love of worldly possessions has been curbed. Having taken the support of God, our vicious thoughts have been completely wiped out. O Nanak, the God through His grace has cast away all our fear complex of ages, worldly attachments and other vices as He has blessed us with His benevolence. Suhi mahalla panjama अनेक बींग दास के पर हरिया कर कृपा प्रभु अपना करया तुम्हें छड़ाए लियो जन अपना उर्ज परयो जाल जग सुपना रहाओ पर्वत दोख महा बिकराला खिन में दूर किए दयाला सोग रोग विपत अत पारी दर पई जप नाम मुरारी दृष्ट तार लीनो लड़लाए हर चरण गहे नानक सरणाए. The slave of yours have been accepted by you as your own through your grace by ridding me of all my flaws and misgivings. I was completely engrossed in the false love of worldly pleasures which are transient like a dream, but you have saved me from this worldly bondage like your own offspring. Pause, O God benefactor, you have helped me to cast away all the horrible sins and sufferings which were unsurmountable like a mountain. All our sufferings due to our afflictions or sorrows have been cast away by you, and you have blessed us with joy and bliss since the time I started reciting your true name. O Nanak, Vaheguru has accepted us as His disciples through His grace. Once we sought His support by taking refuge at the lotus feet of Him. Now we are enabled to recite His true name. Suhi mahalla panjama deen chadai duni jolai duhi sarai khunami kahai jyotis pave so parvan apni kudrat ape jaan rahao. Such people who were unfortunate, they are engrossed in love of worldly pleasures, keeping them away from their religious duties. They have been considered as sinners in both the worlds here and hereafter. You alone know the secrets and power of God's will and accept without a murmur whatever pleases the God. Pause. Sacha taram pun pala karai दीन कहे तो से दुनी न जाए सर्ब निरंतर एको जागे जित जित लाया तित तित को लागे अगम गोचर सच साहिब मेरा नानक बोले बुलाया तेरा. Such people who are enabled by you to perform noble and virtuous deeds amass the wealth of religious virtues, and all their actions and enjoyment in life do not become useless. Their life here and hereafter is fruitful. Vaheguru is pervading in all the beings, and His light is shining among all of them. The human beings follow the same path as directed by God. O Nanak, my true master is too deep for a probe and is beyond our comprehension and appears to be a distant entity. O true master, this human is not capable of doing anything himself and follows your dictates only as per your will and functions. This human speaks your language and nothing is in his control. He does as directed by you. Suhi mahalla panjama prate kal har naam uchari ईत ऊत की ओट सवारी सदा सदा जपिए हर नाम पूर्ण होवे मन के काम रहाओ. People who are engaged in the recitation of God's true name in the ambrosial hours of the morning have ensured for themselves to lead a successful life both here and hereafter. They have taken the support of God, which helps them to function successfully. We could fulfill all our desires and complete all our jobs successfully, provided we recite God's true name all the time. Pause. प्रभु बिनासी रैन दिन गाओ, जीवत मरत नेह चल पावे थाओ। सो साह सेव जित टोट न आवे, खात खर्चत सुख नदर विहावे। जग जीवन पुरख साध संग पाया, गुर प्रसाद नानक नाम ध्याया। We should sing praises of imperishable God day and night. Such saintly people become immortal in this life even, and are acclaimed while being alive after death also. O brother, let us serve the true Master, in whose domain there is no dearth or shortage of anything. We could lead a comfortable and blissful life by reciting His true name and spreading the same gospel to others. O Nanak, we have attained the God benefactor by reciting true name through the Guru's grace in the company of holy saints, and have enjoyed eternal bliss through meditation of true name.